How you doing this morning?
Morning, Bob.
Good, good. So, hey, I appreciate you having me out this week. We've had a really good week. We got a lot of noise. Must be a party in the next room in there. So, I wanted to take just a minute, and you were sharing some thoughts about just how it takes time to do this new view stuff. It doesn't happen overnight.
Yeah, I mean, it's taken us a while because people still are entrenched in blame and punishment. Leaders think that way, and we've had to really spend the time and change how we respond. And as we started telling the Blue Line story and actually listening for it and sharing that with leaders, we started to see changes in our company. But we got to stay the course. It just takes a lot longer than you think.
Well, we're overcoming some habits that we've kind of created over a long, long time period, right? It's kind of human nature, even when something happens, to want to know who screwed up.
It absolutely is. We want to know what happened. It's easy to go that approach,
right.
But we didn't learn. And the cool thing is that as we started to share these stories, not only get buy-in from employees, but our leaders started to see that, hey, we're coming up with some really good solutions, and it's creating engagement in our workforce, and they want to get better, and we are getting better because of that.
And don't you even have a site that like people get to put up their suggestions on what they want to do learning teams on? You've got, like, I don't know, 30 or 40 suggestions for learning teams?
Yeah, those stories came from people talking about their work, about post-job reviews, challenges they have, and say, hey, let's do this. And so as they've had good experience with learning teams, they realize, hey, we want to understand, gives us a chance to map the process, understand what's really happening, see the blue line when we're stuck in the black line. And so, hey, they saw results, and they say, hey, let's do a learning team on this and this. And I mean, it's exciting.
Yeah, and I sort of felt that energy this week as you guys had that celebration with your trainers and stuff, and to hear them get up and tell their stories. I could have just listened to their stories all day. It's so funny because Todd, when Todd was working with me, Conklin was working with me at my site, he said, Bob, why aren't you telling stories? And I'm like, what do you mean? Why is it important to tell stories? He said, that's how culture changes. It's not from spreadsheets and data and pie charts, and it's from the stories of the work and how people interact. And so your guys had some amazing stories, and some of those trainers said they had never done this kind of thing before. One of the guys was like probably my age, mid-50s. He said he had never done this kind of work before. How'd you get those guys to do that?
Well, it just once they got talking and started figuring out their stories that they had already, it just flowed. And man, the guys just really responded to that. It makes a difference, and that's what people remember as stories. That's what they take back. We can talk about theory all day long, but what resonated with them was the stories, and it put it to life for them, and made it practical, and they took it back. It was just really awesome to see those trainers carry this message, because those were our leaders. We started with our leaders, and it showed their commitment and buy-in. If you're going to teach something, you had to internalize it. And that was a challenge for some of them, and they struggled. But I mean, by the time they had gone through a couple classes, man, they were our best proponents, strongest proponents.
So your leadership trained the people below them, or the people that they work for them, and then the people that how did that?
Our managers and superintendents trained our first line supervisors, and then they teamed up with our first line supervisors to train our our people
workforce?
In the field.
So what were some of the comments you got back from people in the field when their frontline supervisor is teaching them about human performance?
Well, you could just see the instant buy-in. You could say the instant connection to the material because it was real to them. They were telling stories about themselves and about the work that they were doing out in the field. And so there was this instant connection, instant ability to see that they cared and were getting it and wanted to hear what was important to the
So
people in the
if my
field.
Supervisor's teaching me about human performance, he must believe in it.
You have to.
Yeah, that's brilliant.
And it challenged them, really, hey, do I really believe this or not? And there were a lot of concepts we had to go through and kind of talk about and really come to an understanding of what does that mean. And we're still figuring it out. And that's the cool thing as we go through these training sessions, and we do more and more, it creates deeper levels of learning.
Yeah, it's not like we have to have it perfect to get started, right?
No.
And so I just am thinking about this. I never really thought about the power of what you guys have done until this week. But So if I'm standing up in front of the crew that works for me and I say, as an organization and me personally, we're trying to move away from blame and punish and move more towards learn and improve. Okay, I just said that out loud, right? So that means the next time something happens, we're all kind of, you talk about accountability, we're all kind of holding each other accountable. Remember, we're supposed to learn and improve. That's what our goal is. It kind of it's more transparent, right?
Yeah, it drives that forward accountability.
Yeah,
honestly, and keeps us from looking back. And so, and I tell you what, it's helped our leadership start looking and approach things differently as well as they're hearing these stories come up through the organization.
Absolutely brilliant. Well, thanks for having me here this week. I'm leaving with more energy than I came, so that's always a good thing because it's the end of the week and I'm supercharged. You guys are rock stars here, and I appreciate you having me out here, and I look forward to seeing how your journey continues.
Awesome week, Bob. Thank you.
Thank you.